Don't move to New Braunfels until after you watch this video. There's something that you need to hear. I asked families that already made the move to New Braunfels, hey, what's the one thing you wish you knew before moving to New Braunfels? Their answers might surprise you. Some are small adjustments and others could be real deal breakers. So if you're thinking about moving to New Braunfels, watch this video first. If you are new here to my channel, thank you so much for coming aboard, because every week we're putting out timely and relevant information just like this about what it's like to live in New Braunfels. We talked with real families, some of our client families who moved here in the last few years, and asked them, hey, what is the one thing you wish you would have known before moving to New Braunfels? And their answers may help you avoid some major headaches. This family said they wish they would have known about New Braunfels' ongoing drought conditions.
It's been a drought ever since we've been here. Yeah, we're looking at a 3-year drought. We weren't expecting that.
This could be a tough pill to swallow for you. New Braunfels has been experiencing drought conditions since 2021. Very little rain, triple-digit bone-dry summers, except last summer when El Nino swept through New Braunfels, bringing us above average rainfall. Which leads us to this next thing that this next family wish they would have known about before moving to New Braunfels.
We didn't realize that we wouldn't adjust to the heat. We were told we'd adjust to it, and we didn't. And it's the humidity too. It's the heat, and it's not just the heat. If it was dry heat, it might be a little different, but it's the heat and the humidity. For us, it feels like when we're walking around, it's like we're walking around trying to breathe in an oven.
And that is a deal breaker, unfortunately, for this family. The hot summers in New Braunfels are causing them to move to a state with more comfortable temperatures. It is interesting how all this meshes together, the hot weather, the drought conditions, and this one thing this next family wish they would have known about before moving to New Braunfels.
The traffic, the increase in traffic and the buildup in New Braunfels, I think.
Yeah, I guess that caught us off guard completely.
Yeah.
Growth, drought conditions, very little rain, triple-digit temps the last 4 years. All 4 of those points have led to this one thing this next family wished they would have known about before they picked up and moved their entire life to New Braunfels.
We did a lot of research, and I think the one thing we wish we would have had a better pulse on is the different water districts and how they operate for the different areas, leading to where we're at, which is San Jose Water Group, that buys our water wholesale from Guadalupe Blanco and severely limits us, including adding new meters soon so they can watch us every minute.
And that family lives in New Braunfels Hill Country, where there's just a couple water sources for all this land, all these homes, and one of those water sources is a depleting record-low canyon lake. Now, all this means is that families in many of these Hill Country neighborhoods were in a stage 4 water restriction last summer. That meant they couldn't water their lawns at all, even though many have made the switch to dryscaping. And right now, they're back in stage 4 water restriction after spending a few months in stage 3, where they could water their grass by irrigation or sprinkler at least every other week. Water restrictions are different in New Braunfels city limits, where there are several water sources, which allows residents to water their grass once a week right now, compared to once every other week for the past 2.5 years. So water restrictions, drought conditions, growth, hot summers will either be a small adjustment for you or a complete deal breaker. This next one could very well be a deal breaker for you. This is the one thing this next family wish they knew about before moving to New Braunfels.
It can go up 10% year over year. Eventually, your appraised value is going to hit your market value, right? No matter what kind of discounts or anything like that. And to know that.
Okay.
Again,
the 10% rule is the one thing you wish you would have known.
Right.
This family moved from California to Texas, where taxes are higher here. In California, your tax bill is somewhat predictable every year because of the state's 2% cap. Texas doesn't have that stability. In Texas, if you own a homestead, your taxable value can increase up to 10% every year, leading to potential big jumps in your tax bill. And your property is reassessed every year in Texas, where in California, it only resets to market value when you sell your house. Part of the reason you could see a big jump on your property tax bills because of the huge growth in New Braunfels, 20,000 new residents in just 3 years from 2020 to 2023. Demand drives home values and property taxes up, and it also drives people crazy on the roads here. And that leads to another thing people wish they knew before moving to New Braunfels.
It's a tough one. But I probably would say the traffic.
For me, I think the number one thing was the traffic. I wasn't expecting there to be so much traffic.
Yes, commute times have gone up in New Braunfels. I mean, it's going to happen. You get 20,000 new residents in 3 years, and the government just can't respond fast enough. But the state and city have made transportation improvements, including adding lanes on our main loop in New Braunfels and on the major highway that runs through New Braunfels. The state plans on widening State Highway 46 east between New Braunfels and Seguin, but that could take another 5-10 years. Meanwhile, New Braunfels has also been improving the secondary roads, including Klein Road here, which expanded to a 4-lane road from 2-lane road. Other road projects are scheduled, including the widening of Common Street, which has blown up the last couple of years with new apartments. Kohlenberg Road near the new master plan community Mayfair is also scheduled to be widened from 2 to 4 lanes. So some road improvements are complete and other improvements are on the way, just not fast enough for most of us. We got to just pack the patience. Now, here's one thing a lot of families wish they knew before moving to New Braunfels, but this family did a little research ahead of time. They said, quote, before moving to New Braunfels, we joined the New Braunfels Facebook groups. There were a lot of posts about the utility company NBU showing high bills. That was concerning for us, but given our utility bill in California, I just figured high utilities were going to be the norm. Electricity bills, yes, they can be high in the summer because of the heat in New Braunfels, but a big reason that bills are high is because the utility company is upgrading the aging infrastructure just to meet the demand of the explosive growth in New Braunfels. Here's one thing this next family wished they knew about before they moved to New Braunfels, and it can make literally your skin crawl if you're not ready for it.
The thing that surprised me the most was just the pests. And, I've been warned about pest control and really kind of thought it was way overblown and didn't think it was really necessary. I could manage it on my own. And we didn't. I think we got about a month, 6 weeks in and found a scorpion and just kind of saw the lay of the land, and we decided, no, this is money well spent. We're definitely going to do pest control.
Yeah, pests and wildlife just hits different in Texas. We have bugs the size of T-Rexes. We have, as you heard, scorpions, snakes, all kinds of creepy crawlers, common in Texas, especially in hill country.
The amount of deer, especially at night, alongside some of the busier roads, you really have to be cautious because there's a lot of big roadkill that we see fairly often. So it just adds another risk at night.
Deer are definitely everywhere in New Braunfels at night, during the day. They're just part of the landscape here. No natural predators, so they feel right at home. Many times in front of your home, too. There's been talk of deer trapping because there's so many of them, but no city decision on that just yet. Just my 2 cents here, there's no need to trap deer in New Braunfels. They're a part of the vibe. They're a part of the landscape life in New Braunfels. And the reason they're roaming around everywhere, you see them everywhere, is because their former roaming areas are now residential and commercial developments. Here's one thing this next family wish they knew before moving to New Braunfels.
The wage I am making is lower than what I was making in Minnesota, and I wish I would have known that ahead of time.
She's a substitute teacher, and subs in New Braunfels, on average, make about $110 a day on a short-term assignment. And national average is $173 a day, so we come in below the national average there, but we're also below the national average when it comes to cost of living, according to PayScale and Salary.com reports. It's a good thing New Braunfels is between 2 major cities, or this next thing I wish I would have known may have been a deal breaker for this family.
Now that we've lived here a little bit, that, oh, well, if you want to go to like this specific type of restaurant that we're used to in a larger city, it's not here. But we can go to San Antonio or we can go to Austin or, so it's not really a bad thing. It's just We just got to drive a little bit further to go to it.
Definitely fewer restaurant and shopping options in New Braunfels. And if you want something different, you have to go to Austin or San Antonio. But that may be changing in New Braunfels with new retail and restaurants planned at our sprawling shopping district and at the new mixed-use development, Psalms Landing. This is one thing that would be nice to know before you move to New Braunfels.
There's so many restaurants closed on Mondays and shops. Everything's closed on Mondays.
Some of our mom and pop local businesses in New Braunfels are closed on Mondays, including one of our favorite restaurants and our drive-in theater. So it takes a little bit adjusting to, but you get used to it. Here are 3 quick things these families said they wish they would have known before they moved to New Braunfels, but it didn't stop them from moving here.
The lack of a premier health club, which New Braunfels at this time does not have.
We were really surprised, at least me, by the number of door-to-door solicitors the first 6 to 8 weeks we lived here.
The level of self-reliance you must have for things that we didn't have to rely on coming from a larger city.
3 quick responses from me right here. First, the self-reliance soundbite. If you live outside New Braunfels city limits, you likely are managing your own propane, septic system, and well water where that's needed. And that may be, as you heard in the soundbite, different than where you came from, so just a heads up there. The soundbite about door knockers and solicitors, it's a real thing in New Braunfels. I get spam calls all the time on my phone from home alarm system companies every time we close on a new construction home in New Braunfels with our clients, even though the home already comes with a security alarm system. The comment about no premier health clubs in New Braunfels, definitely true. My favorite place, I think I've told you a million times, is the city-run fitness center because it has everything I need, including weights and swimming, but I could see how somebody would want something more. Maybe indoor, outdoor tennis, a spa, jacuzzi, a sauna, maybe a full restaurant and bar. Maybe someday in New Braunfels, just not today. The things I wish I knew about New Braunfels before moving to New Braunfels, straight from real families who made the move to New Braunfels. Does this give you a better idea of what to expect ahead of time? And can you overcome some of these things? Or are they just deal breakers? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you moved to New Braunfels recently, what are some of the things that you wish you knew before moving to New Braunfels? And if you haven't moved yet and are planning on moving to New Braunfels or plan on selling your house in New Braunfels, either one, of course, I'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. As always, thank you so much for coming to these videos and watching, and we'll see you on the next one.